Hello and welcome to News Center. I am Ritu Singh. Now, non-resident Indians with bank accounts in India no longer need to have a local Indian mobile number to be able to transact using the UPI. This is because NPCI, which is the governing body for Unified Payments Interface, has now allowed NRIs to make UPI payments using their international mobile numbers from the NRE or NRO accounts, which are the two major categories of accounts available for NRIs. Now, we're also given to understand that to begin with, NPCI is going to enable these transactions for NRIs in 10 countries. That includes Singapore, Australia, Canada, Hong Kong, Oman, Qatar, the United States, Saudi Arabia, UAE and the United Kingdom. But subsequently, it said it plans to extend the facility to more countries in the near future. Now, NPCI has also asked players in the UPI ecosystem, primarily banks, to onboard customers from these countries and ensure these accounts are compliant with FEMA and other RBI regulations and have the necessary anti-money laundering checks and balances in place to ensure that these accounts can start using the UPI from the 30th of April this year. Joining me now to talk about this latest feature and how it's going to help a lot of NRIs who are looking to use UPI overseas is Akhil Handa, the Chief Digital Officer at Bank of Baroda. Akhil, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. First, if you could start by telling us, NPCI has given banks time until the end of April to ensure preparedness. What are the steps that you have to take to ensure that this is rolled out seamlessly?
Hi, thanks Ritu for having me. Look, first I think this is a great step, and this really follows on the NPCI OC from October 2018, and this gives a lot of choice to the NR customers. And there has been a lot of work in the past. In 2018, I think the ecosystem was not ready. But now the ecosystem is broadly ready, and as far as the bank is concerned, we only need to enable the overseas numbers, and there are some changes that we need to make to our systems, switch, etc. But the timeline is eminently meetable.
Okay, so by April 30th, you will be ready with the system. But Akhil, broadly, what would this mean for companies that are offering remittances currently and, cash, foreign currency interchange, etc.? Will their significance diminish, so to speak?
It could impact that to a certain extent. However, I do feel that, overall, it is for NR customers. The first segment where I feel they will get a lot more choice is the NR customers transacting between their own accounts. And when they, for example, come over to India, they will have an opportunity to be able to transact using their NR accounts over UPI. Because now UPI acceptance is ubiquitous, right? So to my mind, the first segment that will get a great help from this will be the NR customers coming over to India. Of course, that will be followed by all sorts of other permutations as well. But NR customers on merchants, followed by NR customers transacting within bank accounts of their own, I think will be the first two segments.
I think that's an important clarification, and that is one of the questions we got on social media, that you're not just transacting between two bank accounts, but also with merchants. So to make small payments, you no longer need to have an Indian mobile number. But Akhil, on that note, there are a few more questions that have come in from, some of our social media followers. For instance, will there be foreign currency conversion and markup charges that will apply when NRIs sitting in countries overseas are transacting in India?
I think we need clarity on that. The clarity is not yet there on the charges structure. It could potentially, in as far as the limits are concerned, of course, I don't think anything will change. So I do assume that the charges structure will potentially get aligned as well, but we don't know yet.
Okay, the other question that has come in is, does it imply that users can accept payments from abroad from non-Indians as well, or is the facility only for transfer between two Indians?
The NRE account is for the non-resident external, right? And to that extent, the credit to the NRE account, whichever modes are applicable for credit to NRE, will continue to be applicable for UPI as well. This only happens to be one more channel of making payments or receiving payments. It doesn't change anything in as far as the structure of which account to which account you can make the payment or receive the payment.
Okay, the other concern that has been raised is how will banks and how will the system ensure that the payments that are being done are done by an NRI and not someone else? So what kind of checks and balances will you as a bank put in place?
This has to be linked to either the NRE or the NRO account. And again, when you open an NRE and NRO account, you follow certain guidelines, which include the regulatory guidelines. They also include provisions of AML and FEMA guidelines. All right. So that again will continue to hold. And once you are you're debiting or crediting an NRE account, the validations get built onto our own systems. So, which account, which scheme code is getting debited, that will have to be whitelisted. And now that NRE accounts can be debited, those scheme codes will get whitelisted.
Okay, the other question is, once this is implemented, say, after the end of April, how does one get started? As an NRI, what steps does a customer have to take?
You have to just then onboard yourself as any other UPI user does, and you start with creation of a VPA account. The difference is earlier only Indian numbers where the code is +91 would get accepted. Now, of course, the 10 countries that have been enabled for it, those codes will also get accepted. And then, of course, the standard process of the registration will continue, and you will be able to link your account. So account discovery happens and linking of account happens, and then you're all set to make payments.
Akhil, thank you so much for patiently answering all of those questions for us and for our viewers. Thank you for joining in.